In late September 2025, Morocco witnessed one of the largest waves of social protests in its recent history, a movement born online and led by a digitally connected generation. What began as an outcry over the tragic deaths of 8 pregnant women in a public hospital in Agadir quickly turned into a nationwide demand for dignity, equality, and justice. The protests were organized under the name Gen Z 2212, a reference to Morocco's youth generation, using the online platform Discord to coordinate peaceful gatherings across 13 cities. Young people, many of them still in school, took to the streets chanting, "Hospitals before stadiums and health, education, jobs." Their message was clear: the state's priorities were misplaced. At the heart of this anger lies a growing frustration over years of inequality, corruption, and economic hardship. Morocco's economy, still dependent on agriculture and burdened by debt, has struggled to create jobs for its young population. Meanwhile, billions of dollars are being spent on massive infrastructure projects, new airports, high-speed rail, and most notably, preparations for the 2030 FIFA World Cup, which Morocco will co-host with Spain and Portugal. For many citizens, these stadiums have become symbols of the widening gap between the government's ambitions and the people's needs. The slogan, "No to the World Cup, yes to health," echoed across Morocco's streets as demonstrators accused the government of investing in prestige while public hospitals and schools collapse. The protests quickly escalated. In late September and early October, hundreds were arrested, dozens injured, and at least 3 killed when security forces opened fire on demonstrators. Human rights groups, including Amnesty International, condemned the crackdown and called for an independent investigation, warning that Morocco's use of excessive force violates international law. Across the Mediterranean, solidarity rallies were held by Moroccan expatriates in Paris and Marseille, as protesters carried signs demanding education, healthcare, and dignity. Their voices amplified a message that resonated far beyond Morocco's borders, a call for justice, transparency, and reform. Inside the country, lawmakers from the opposition demanded accountability, particularly over the dire state of hospitals. Yet the government continues to emphasize its global commitments, from football tournaments to infrastructure megaprojects, as symbols of national progress. What makes this movement historic is not just its scale, but its form. Organized digitally, driven by a generation raised on the internet, it marks a new phase in civic activism where young Moroccans bypass traditional politics and use social media as a tool for collective action. The 2025 protests are more than a reaction to tragedy. They are a reflection of deep structural fractures in Morocco's social and economic system. They reveal a youth that refuses silence, a society demanding a new social contract based on accountability, equity, and human rights. Ultimately, this movement is both a warning and an opportunity. A warning that neglecting social justice in pursuit of global prestige breeds instability, and an opportunity for Morocco to rebuild trust, to put people before projects and dignity before display.